The Houston Texans upset the Los Angeles Chargers in a dominant 32-12 win in the Super Wildcard Weekend opener. The Chargers could not run the ball. They were awful on third down, and Justin Herbert has been the recipient of heavy criticism after posting a stat line of 242 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 4 interceptions, while completing just 43.75% of his passes on 32 attempts. That's just 14 completions. It was a dreadful outing, and now the question becomes just how much of the blame falls on their star quarterback's shoulders. Let's jump into the film and decide that for ourselves right now. Hello everybody, this is The Pocket Passer. I'm your host, Randy White. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. I know I am, because we're talking about football, and more specifically, we're talking about playoff football. The wild card round just wrapped up, and the divisional round is right around the corner. But before we get to it, I need to talk about the narrative around Justin Herbert and the horrific stat line he put up. If you are a box score watcher and a stat watcher, it is very easy to determine, based on this Chargers-Texans matchup that was a blowout victory, a 20-point win for the Texans, that Justin Herbert's not the guy, and he's not going to get it done for you in big moments in the playoffs. I still don't believe that's the case. I think if you watch the film, you watch the way that game unfolded, Justin Herbert, although deserves some blame, he had 2 bad picks, one of them especially atrocious after going up 6-0 and getting a takeaway and getting the ball in Texans territory and forcing an ugly pass right across the field from the opposite hash to the opposite sideline. Dreadful pass, underthrows it, gets picked off, terrible decision there. But his other 2 interceptions ensuing that one, a drop that goes through Ladd McConkey's hand that ends up in a pick 6, and then a drop from Will Dissly that ends up in a return down to about the 15 or so yard line that ends up with 3 more points for the Texans. So the Texans get 10 points right there. So now it's a 10-point margin, and then you get a blocked extra point that goes the other way for 2. It's a 3-point margin, assuming the extra point goes to the uprights. And when you take that into consideration, it ends up being a 7-point game, and that game might unfold entirely different. Maybe Justin Herbert makes a better and smarter decision, knowing he's not down 17 with 3 minutes to go. So a lot of things change when the supporting cast around you performs. The supporting cast around Herbert did not perform. They ran the ball for 50 yards all game. 16 of those came on the opening drive, meaning in the remaining drives they had in that game, they ran the ball for 34 times. They barely doubled the rushing total from the opening drive, or I guess barely tripled the rushing total after that opening drive. So dreadful performance on the ground, and it was not due to running back performance. It was because the Chargers, whose identity is dominating the line of scrimmage with aggressive and physical offensive line play, that offensive line got dominated, pushed around, moved off the ball repeatedly, especially when they needed to get the yardage. Just go back to the opening drive. They run the ball for 2 yards on the opening carry, and then they run the ball for 8 yards and 8 yards again on the following carries they had on that drive. And then on a 3rd and 1, when you're asking your offensive line to go win at the point of attack and go get you that yard, what happens? Joe Alt, the rookie right tackle, who's played very well all year, he gets dominated at the point of attack. He gets pushed 3 yards into the backfield, and when you're running a play with a pulling guard that has to go around that tackle, and that tackle gets pushed 2 or 3 yards into the backfield, it completely blows up the play. The play's dead at that point, and J.K. Dobbins has nowhere to go, ends up losing 2 yards because the guard can't get around to block anybody, and by the time he does, the rest of the defense has flown to the spot because the entire rhythm of the run and the timing of the run has been disrupted by early penetration to the run side. So you can't have that happen. Chargers got dominated up front. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass protect when they needed to pass protect. Justin Herbert got sacked 4 times, but he got pressured and hit many more times than that. You had drops all over the field. Even the drops that didn't lead to picks were costly. Will Dissly on the second drive, after forcing a fumble on the Texans, drops a 2nd down and long pass that would have given them maybe even a 1st down, but at very worst, 3rd and 1, so they could run the ball and get stopped again and kick a field goal inevitably. But at least they would have had a chance to convert instead of having 3rd and I think 17 where they inevitably obviously get stopped and have to kick a field goal. So now it's 6-0 instead of having the opportunity to maybe go up 10-0. The Chargers defense, although played well most of the game, were situationally poor at the end of the half. They allowed 10 points in the final minute or so of the game. The Chargers offense managed that end of the half situation poorly by going 3 and out and running nearly no time off the clock, as well as them burning timeouts on the Texans' touchdown drive before they got the field goal. So when the Texans had the ball with about 40 seconds left or so, when they go down and score a touchdown and take the lead 7-6, the Chargers are calling timeouts to get the ball back instead of just accepting that this will be the last drive of the half and they can go ahead and go into half. Hopefully they hold them to a field goal and it's 6-3 at the half, but at very worst 7-3 at the half. They call timeouts, give more time. That allows the Texans to inevitably kick a field goal to go up 10-6. And then the Texans start off dominating the start of the third quarter. Fortunately for the Chargers, they force a fumble. Again, Chargers defense played pretty well up until the very end in the fourth quarter, down 13 with 10.5 minutes to go. This is a game. If you get a stop and the Chargers have a shot to go get something going offensively, this is a game. 13 points, a touchdown can flip this thing like that. But the wrong team scored a touchdown. The Texans went on a 7-minute drive, over 7 minutes, to go ahead and score again, go up by 17, and now instead of 10.5 minutes, there's 3.5 minutes to go, and the Texans are up 17, and that's the game. And then Justin Herbert follows it up with a pick, forcing the ball, trying to get a big play in a game you have almost no shot of winning. So when you look at that stat line, it is exceedingly misleading. Now let's jump into the film. First, I'm going to review all 4 of those interceptions, break down the ones that were his fault, break down the ones that weren't his fault, explain what the coverage was, what he was looking at, why he may have thrown those passes. This is Justin Herbert's first pick of the game. I'm going to break down every single one of his interceptions and what went wrong on each one of them. Obviously, we know what went wrong on some of the other ones, but here let's just break down this passing concept. So a lot of the times, Chargers have been known, obviously, to run the ball. They pound the rock, that's kind of their identity, and then they run those play-action bootlegs off of it. And when you get that play-action bootleg, oftentimes this backside receiver is going to run some kind of an over route or a crossing route, something to that effect. So the Chargers hit the Texans with a wrinkle here, and Quentin Johnson, as much as I hate on him, he actually runs a solid route here, and he gets enough separation for a successful play. He puts the move on, and he runs his little post corner or a sail route, whatever you want to call it. However, the problem with this play is Herbert throws the ball late. You're going to see he gets this play action, he gets out, and Matlock right here, Scott Matlock, is not able to seal the edge. Danico Autry is able to get around him, which prevents Herbert from being able to comfortably get set. And then Herbert, who really should be getting rid of the ball now, he takes 1, 2, 3, 4 more steps and then skips into it. So he's not getting his hips really involved into the throw. A little bit he is, because he's able to kind of create that torque by stepping into it. But because he's leaping, he doesn't have his feet in the ground, he's not going to generate the ground force he needs to really drive this ball out here. This ball needs to get to the sideline at the 10-yard line. It falls short of that, lands inside, about 5 yards inside the sideline, in between the numbers and the sideline, and at about the 12-yard line instead of the 10. So you're about 2 yards short in distance and about 5-6 yards short in terms of how far it needs to get to the sideline. And a lot of that can be attributed to, one, Herbert being forced to feel uncomfortable because the block here is ineffective, and then 2, just getting the ball out late. This is one of those times Herbert's great about letting the ball rip even when he knows he's going to get hit. He needs to put his right foot in the ground right now and let this thing go. Safety has inside leverage on a outbreaking route. That's not going to do him any good. If you throw this ball to the sideline, high to the 10-yard line, you can get it done. But the right foot's got to go on the ground now. He decides to run away from the pressure, skip into the throw. It's late and underthrown. All right, let's talk about what the defense is doing. The defense is in straight-up man coverage. You got Lassiter locked up on Quentin Johnson. You've got Miles Bryant locked up on Ladd McConkey, and you got Stingley locked up on Darius Davis. The safety walks down because he's manned up on the fullback, Scott Matlock, and then you've got, I believe it's a banjo technique between these two middle linebackers. So basically, whichever way the running back goes is the linebacker that's going to take him. If J.K. Dobbins were to have released on a route to the right, I think Azeez Al-Shaair would have became the linebacker manned up on him, and then Toa would have dropped into the middle of the field. Because they run play action and J.K. Dobbins ends up over here, Now Toa flies down to cover him, and Azeez Al-Shaair becomes the one hole guy. And then you got, of course, the one high safety who's going to try and stay on top of the highest route. And because Ladd McConkey runs his corner post over here, which ends up being higher than the over corner or the sail route, this safety has to stay over the top of this deep corner post and can't break on this route as quickly, which is why the play is set up so nicely. Herbert just has to deliver a more accurate throw, but you're going to see this man coverage play out. Good job by Lassiter to run underneath it. The throw is underthrown. He's able to get his head around and make a play on it. Great job by him. McConkey starts over in bunch right. This is 1st and 10. This is the pick 6. He motions over to the left, and the route concept we've got here is you're going to get a kind of a jam protection here. They're going to jam the edge threat, Danielle Hunter, over on the right side. You get the in route on the top, and then after the jam, he releases into a hitch. This is a bounce concept. You're going to get a high-low read on the vertical hook defender, which ends up being this linebacker right here, Azeez Al-Shaair. He's sitting in the zone, so it's a high-low over here if Herbert decides to go to the side. The side Herbert decides to go to, Ladd McConkey motions over. You're going to get Quentin Johnson on an inside release, deep corner route. He runs his route prettier than I drew it, but that's the general concept. I think he gets about 5 yards deeper, probably to about here, and then you're going to get Ladd McConkey on a trail technique. He's just going to sit down and run a hitch. Now, the defense right here, they're going to be in cover 3, so these corners bail at the snap. Middle safety, deep safety, and then the corner bails. So this defender gets flat, this defender gets flat, and then again, vertical hook with Azeez Al-Shaair and Toa. Now, the read here, you're going to see this flat defender. He's going to get high and outside to find space to hit Ladd McConkey. So the throw to Ladd McConkey is open, and it's the correct decision. You're going to see Herbert adjusting the protection here. He takes a 3-step drop, 1-2. It's more of a buzz because it's quick game, and he decides he's throwing this hitch. As you can see, this corner drifts high and inside, and the flat defender here stays on top of this throw to McConkey. He's going to try and rob and actually drop underneath this deep corner route. So he's going to try and drop. He's trying to bait Herbert into throwing this corner route. Doesn't work. Hey guys, I'm in the editing process, and I just wanted to jump in real quick because I think I may have misrepresented what was happening there. I don't know how much he's really trying to bait Herbert into a pick as much as he's just dropping underneath of the deepest threat in his zone and trying to prevent Herbert from being able to make a throw there. And if he does, great. Pick it, obviously. But I think he's more so just trying to get back and make sure he's in a position to defend it if it does get thrown. Not so much baiting Herbert, just taking it away, and then if the ball gets thrown short, come up, rally, make a tackle, and when the ball goes through his hands, obviously he gets the pick. He throws it to McConkey. It's the right read. It's a little high, goes right through McConkey's hands, though, and bang, just hits the corner in the chest. Eric Murray's freest interception and freest touchdown of his career. I do want you to pay attention here real quickly to the left tackle, Rashawn Slater. He gets pushed back. Herbert now can't step into the throw. He has to finish high, and the ball goes high on him. If he's able to step into the throw, he's going to be able to drive it into McConkey's chest. He's unable to do that, and it gets returned the other way. Bad throw by Herbert. I'm not entirely excusing it. I'm more so providing an explanation for why it went high. Herbert still got to do a better job of being able to drive this throw, or at least not float it as much, not float it, but not sail it as much as he did. He's got to get this ball in McConkey's chest. It sails on him. He can't let it happen, but the reason it happens is because of the pressure that is created by the pass rush driving Rashawn Slater into his lap. Here's Herbert's third pick of the game. You're going to get just a clear out fade on the top by DJ Chark, or on the bottom by DJ Chark. I'm not sure exactly what Will Disley is supposed to run. I don't believe it's the route he's running. I think because the Texans bring a blitz, so he blitzes and he blitzes. You get a 5-man pressure to this side of the field, to the bottom side of the field. Danico Autry drops into coverage this way. I'm not totally sure what the defense is doing here. Looks like some kind of a zone match scheme with this corner and this safety who ends up bailing high, and then this safety stays high. Derek Stingley, he's smart. I think he knows that Justin Herbert's not going to throw a one-on-one ball to him with DJ Chark lined up against him, especially with the blitz. Justin Herbert's going to look to throw this ball hot, and Stingley gets himself in a position to make a play because of it, and because he has deep responsibility and it's zone. What is he also able to do? He's able to kind of sit back, eyes on the quarterback, sees where the quarterback's eyes goes, understands where the quarterback is throwing this ball, and gets himself in a position to make a play, ideally to make a tackle. Disley's just going to turn. Good job by him recognizing the blitz, and he just kind of drifts out here, but you're going to see it is a horrible, horrible drop. Herbert does everything right, recognizes the blitz, throws hot, And it's just an awful, awful drop on what would have been 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, solid gain. Instead, it's Derek Stingley going the other way. He had 2 picks in this game. 4th and final interception, you get mirrored route concepts. So you get a double move on the bottom of the screen, double move on the top of the screen, and you're going to see pre-snap, Quentin Johnson looks like the much better option with this safety all the way into the hash, one-on-one coverage with not Derek Stingley. And then you get DJ Chark one-on-one coverage with Derek Stingley and a safety who slid out to provide what looks like could be help. That goes to show you how little trust they have in Quentin Johnson, how little trust Justin Herbert has in Quentin Johnson. Understandably so. Quentin Johnson has been incredibly unreliable since he entered the league. And then you get whip routes underneath. Ladd McConkey cancels his whip route and runs an in-breaker. After he breaks out, he breaks back in. I don't know if that was a design, some kind of a slot option, or if he goes, oh, route's covered, because Toa does cover it well, and then breaks in. I think this is cover 2 man, and I think that this safety just gets a little bit too lazy or just doesn't get enough depth, because Derek Stingley plays aggressive on this double move, allows himself to get beat over the top, plays trail technique. Herbert throws a bad ball, and it gets picked because of that. But I think that this safety is supposed to be high. You see how he kind of hesitates right there, right as DJ Chark makes that move? Let me rewind it for you. Bang, right there. He puts his feet in the ground and comes forward if you're watching the safety. And he gets beat over the top, and Stingley does too. Herbert just throws a horrible ball, gets underthrown, picked off, game over. Right decision from Herbert. DJ Chark ran a nice route. Stingley got aggressive, expecting over-the-top help. He didn't get the over-the-top help, and they still get the pick. Stingley's second of the game and final of the game, and final throw from Herbert of the game, as that is all she wrote. Texans win 32-12. I said it once, I'll say it again. Herbert deserves blame. There's no doubt about it. But as far as him being the main culprit for why they lost, that falls on a lot of factors. Herbert might get the highest percentage of blame individually, but when you look at all the factors adding up, when you look at Quentin Johnson not being able to win on a 4th and short route that was terrible both in depth and in execution and ability to gain separation, you look at the offensive line's inability to pass protect, and you look at receivers' inability to catch in general. Quentin Johnson included, Will Dissly as well. And then Ladd McConkey causing a pick 6. I already went over it. I'm not going to rehash all of it, but there are a lot of factors that cause a team to lose. Herbert's 4 interceptions are misleading. 2 of them not his fault. 2 of them are his fault, but 1 of them not really that bad, trying to force something at the end of the game that you've already lost. So a lot to take from this game. Not a lot really to hold against this Chargers team. We knew going into the year that they're going to be limited at receiver. We expected them, or at least I expected them to miss the playoffs, and I thought the receiver position would hold them back in the regular season. Turned out it took to the playoffs. Not that big of a shocker. I should have seen it coming, and the fact that I practically guaranteed a Chargers victory was a showcase of my youth and ignorance on my part. To me, there's no possible way that this Jim Harbaugh team does not advance to the second round. And many people's part, I can't say the youth part for Rex Ryan, but yikes, guaranteeing a Chargers win and calling it a bye week may have cost him any little shot he had at the Jets head coaching job, because that looked bad, and we know how much Woody Johnson is affected by media opinion if you've read that article written by The Athletic. If any of it's true. Allegedly. But enough on that topic. I will do a hit piece on the Jets when we get to the offseason. It's not time yet. There are more important teams, more successful teams to focus on, and I want to give them their shine while they got the shot. Just wanted to throw some respect Herbert's way, or more so take off some of the shade that's been thrown at him, because although he deserves blame, don't get me wrong, he played poorly. It's gone a little too far. This narrative that he's not the guy, that he can't get it done in big spots, I still don't think that's true. I think it's yet to be seen, but giving up on him would be irrational, immature, and very premature to do. The Chargers won't do it because Harbaugh's the coach now. Harbaugh's going to get it right. They're going to bring in some receivers. Greg Roman is a pretty hated coordinator around the league. I know Lamar started playing much better football when Greg Roman left, so maybe Harbaugh's friends with Greg Roman. I know they went to the Super Bowl together in San Francisco. I think the NFL has potentially passed Greg Roman by, though, and I don't know that he's the best solution for the Chargers offense. I did not like the play calling or the play selection in that game, but again, it's hard to call plays when Quentin Johnson is your wide receiver 1, even though it's Ladd McConkey, but Quentin Johnson's, I believe they use him as the X. So hard to call plays on offense when that's the guy that you have to depend on as your physical receiver. It's tough out there. Play calling's not easy. Hopefully they get it figured out. Chargers are a very likable team. I'm a big Harbaugh fan. I've been a big Herbert fan. Ladd McConkey's awesome. Khalil Mack, if he chooses to not retire, he's a dog. I've always been a fan of him, except for when he was on the Bears, of course. So hopefully he's able to stay another year. He's still playing football at a good enough level to continue to play it. Joey Bosa stays healthy. They should be good to go for years. They just need a new tight end and a new wide receiver one because, good Lord, it's ugly over there. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Smash that subscribe button if you want to see more videos. And turn on that bell icon to be notified when more videos drop. And I will see all of you in the next video. Peace.